And this is a quick and dirty guide on how to do a formal art critique. Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Art Talk. I'm your host, Charlie Burns. Has anyone ever looked at a brutalistic piece of art with you, or maybe something abstract, and said, how is this art? A 2-year-old could do this. Have you ever been looking at art and have no idea where to start or what to do or how to interpret it? Have you ever had this conversation? Well, here, let's talk about the 4 steps to a formal art critique today. That way, whenever we're confronted with art that we don't know what to do, we can at least do this. There are 4 steps to any art critique that's true, and these are the 4 steps. The first step is called description, and that is where we describe the materiality. This is why often in art there's a list that we say about how big it is. We say the materiality, if it's on cotton, if it's on stretched cotton, if it's on canvas, if it's acrylic, if it's oil. This is pretty standard because we want to start with the materiality of the piece. Before we interpret, we talk about what it's physically made up of. The second part is analysis, how things are balanced, the weight of a piece, how it's organized. We're looking at the structural elements that make up a piece. And then thirdly, we move on to interpretation. And then we're going to bounce our interpretation off of the materiality and the organization of the piece itself. That way we're not just bouncing the interpretation off of ourselves, but we're bouncing the interpretation off the piece. And that way we're able to find meaning through the materiality. We're trying to find meaning through the structure of the piece to find the interpretation. And then the last step we call judgment or evaluation. You want to be less judgy. And that's where we talk about if we find the piece of art to be a successful piece of art or a not successful piece of art. And again, we could cite the reasons we find it to be successful from the materiality, from the organization of the piece, from the meaning, from how those are working together or how they're working against each other. And then that's how we come to our judgment of an art piece. This is much more challenging than I ever thought it would be.